Good morning, afternoon or evening from whenever or wherever you are watching this video from. I am Jack Adamas, and as promised I am back after the international break with game week 9 in the Premier League with my predictions. Let's get to it. Before we get into this week's video, please do like, share and subscribe. Finally, after the international break, we come back to game week 9 in the Premier League with Liverpool hosting Everton at 12:30 in the Merseyside derby in the first game back. Now, with this game producing more red cards than any other fixture in the Premier League history, and with Everton failing to score against Liverpool than any other team in the Premier League, there's no surprise I'm going for a Liverpool win in this one. Liverpool have only lost once since the year 2000 at home to Everton, so there's no surprise I'm going for a 3-0 convincing Liverpool win in this one, and I'm also going for there to be a red card to be shown. We then move into the 3 o'clock games, with the first one being Bournemouth at home to Wolves. Now, this is the Gary O'Neill derby, obviously, as Gary O'Neill did start his managerial career at Bournemouth, but then he got sacked, which was very surprising, and now he's at Wolves and he's doing a good job there. Now, this is a very tricky game to predict. Now, Bournemouth have started the season with 3 draws and 5 losses, and Wolves have picked up some form and they're unbeaten in their last 3 Premier League fixtures. It's a very tricky game to predict. Wolves have only won 1 of their last 12 away Premier League fixtures as well in that time. But also, Bournemouth being at home, they've lost their last 6, only scoring 2 goals in that time. It's a very tricky one to predict, but I am going for Gary O'Neill to get the better of his old team with a 2-1 victory for Wolves in this one. Next up, we go to Brentford at home to Burnley. Now, this is another tricky game to predict, as both teams have 1 win to their name this campaign, and Brentford are very low on confidence and momentum at the moment, obviously conceded twice in the last minutes against Manchester United before the international break, and Burnley probably go into this game thinking they can probably nick something out of this one. Brentford have scored in 17 consecutive home games. I believe at full time, it will be 18, and they will win this one 2-1 in a very tight contest. Then we move to Manchester City at home to Brighton. Now, this will be a very good game. Man City go into this off back-to-back losses for only the 2nd time under Pep Guardiola, but will have the confidence of them winning 20 consecutive home matches in a row. If Brighton do win this, it will only be the 2nd time in Pep's managerial career that he's lost 3 games in a row, which sounds crazy, doesn't it, really, when you think about it. I do believe Brighton will come to this game with the thoughts of winning, and they won't just try and shut up shop, because they do play some attractive football. But with Rodri back in midfield, that pivot in midfield, I can only see one winner here, and that is Man City. I can see them getting a 3-1 victory in this one. Next up, we move to St James's Park, where we have Newcastle at home to Crystal Palace. Now, Newcastle are the 2nd highest scorers in the league this season, and Crystal Palace have the 3rd best defence. And with the last 4 head-to-heads only creating 3 goals within those 4 games, I reckon this will also be a low-scoring game. There's only 1 point between them in the table as well. I'm going to go for a Newcastle 2-0 win here. And a bit of trivia for you quickly. I am also going for Isak to score in this game. If Isak does score, he is the first Swedish player to score in 4 consecutive games since 2005. Can you name the last player to do so? Please comment in the sections below and tell me who you reckon that is. And the last 3 o'clock kickoff on Saturday sees Nottingham Forest hosting Luton. Now, Nottingham Forest have drawn their last 2 home fixtures, 1-1 coming from behind against Burnley and Brentford. And the fact that they have Liverpool next week, they will be going in this with the mentality of this is a must-win game. Although Luton will go in this with the mentality that they can get something out of this game. I think it will be a tight game. I think it'll be tighter than people will probably expect it to be. Nottingham Forest's last 5 Premier League fixtures have all produced under 2.5 goals. I think this one will break that, and this will be a tight 2-1 victory to Nottingham Forest. Now we move into game of the weekend, which is 5:30 on Saturday. It is Chelsea hosting Arsenal. I can see this having goals in it. Chelsea go into this with a bit of momentum, winning 3 out of their last 3 in all competitions before the international break. But also Arsenal beat Manchester City just before the international break. Hopefully the international break didn't ruin either team's momentum going into this one, because I want to see a good game here. Arsenal are unbeaten in their last 4 visits to Stamford Bridge, winning their last 3. If they win this one, they will be the first team since 1986 to win 4 consecutive games at the Bridge, but Chelsea and Pochettino will have different things on their mind. Pochettino is unbeaten against Arsenal in his 6 home fixtures, being manager of Southampton and Spurs. He's won 3 and drawn 3. I can also see this one being a draw. I'm going to go for a high-scoring 2-2 draw here. And the last game on Saturday is an 8 p.m. kickoff between Sheffield United and Manchester United. Now, Sheffield United do go into this game with the joint worst start to a Premier League season after 8 games with only 1 point. And I can only see that getting worse after this game. Although the last head-to-head, Sheffield United did beat Manchester United, but that was at Old Trafford. Now, the last time Sheffield United beat Manchester United at Bramall Lane was in the 92-93 season. With Manchester United being unbeaten in their last 12 games against newly promoted teams. In that time, they've got 11 wins and 1 draw, and they've won their last 9 on the bounce. I can see that being 10 after this game, and I'm going for a 2-0 Manchester United victory in this one. Then we move on to Sunday, where we only have 1 game this week, but what a game it will be. It is Aston Villa at home to West Ham. Now, this is a tight team between 2 teams that are flying very high. Aston Villa are averaging 2 points a game this season, and West Ham aren't far off that. Also, they're about 1.8 points per game, but they are unbeaten in their last 4 matches in all comps, and they have won their last 3 visits to Villa Park. Now, I would not be surprised if this is a home win, an away win, or a draw here, but I just like Aston Villa this season, so I am going to go for a 2-1 tight home victory for Aston Villa in this one. And the last game of game week 9 sees Spurs hosting Fulham in a London derby. Now, Spurs are flying high this season. They are top of the league going into this one and are only one of 2 teams still unbeaten. And with Fulham only winning 1 game against Spurs in their last 10 competitive matches. That was obviously the most recent game though at Craven Cottage in the Carabao Cup this season, but it was a much changed Spurs team. I think both teams will play for the win here. I think it'll be a very end-to-end game. I think both teams will play for the win, but they will have to settle for the draw in this one. I'm going for a 1-1 draw in this one. And my extra game this week is Sunday, 7:45 p.m. It is Serie A. It is the betting derby. Sorry, it is a bit too early to be making jokes like that. But anyway, it is AC Milan versus Juventus. It is first vs third in Serie A. Now, Juventus go into this with their best start to a season in the last 4 years. And AC Milan go into this missing Mike Maignan and Theo Hernandez through suspension, not injury. But I can see AC Milan nicking this in a tight 2-1 game. And my bet of the weekend this weekend is with Bet365. It is a red card double. It is a red card to be shown in the Liverpool versus Everton game and a red card to be shown in the Chelsea versus Arsenal game. Now that brings back 21.5 to 1. So if you throw £2 on that, you will bring back £45 return. So that's a nice little win for the weekend. Please, please, please bet responsibly. Thank you very much if you are still here at the end of my video. I really do appreciate the love and support I've been getting. Now, I am also on Instagram and TikTok, so please do like, share, subscribe and follow. And please remember, if you don't shoot, you can't score. Thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. Thank you. See you next time. Bye.